even look like? I need to look it up.
It just looks like a big tote bag.
What? It's just
a big
tote
canvas tote bag.
It's
yep,
just...
that says Erewhon on it.
Come on. Welcome to Wow of True, the podcast of your wildest memes.
We're your one-stop internet culture shop, here to dissect what's going viral, why we care, and how this might affect our real human lives. I don't know, smoothie enjoyer, Isabel.
And I'm Amanda, and I own at least 2 products from Glossier. Anyone could be famous on the internet, so why not us?
And with us here in the studio today, by studio I mean her apartment, is Allison, who edits our podcast about half the time. And she is our luxury fashion correspondent. And also, she's here today because we are talking about the most extra grocery store in the whole world. Actually, that's probably a lie. The most extra one is probably like in Dubai or something. That's just my guess. Anyway, we're talking about Erewhon.
Hi, everybody.
That's Allison.
Hi, Allison. Now I'm just thinking, imagine if the Mr. Beast locked in a grocery store video took place in an Erewhon.
Wait, okay, actually this is a good question. Do you think they could survive, the guy could have survived longer or a longer?
No, he would have run out of money so fast.
Yeah. Well, Well, he doesn't have to pay for the stuff, but I feel like Erewhon probably only sells, like, super organic produce that has, like, no preservatives in it, so it would go bad really quickly, and they might not have that much shelf-stable stuff to eat.
This is also what I was thinking. I thought he would starve.
Yeah, I also think that he didn't have to pay for stuff, but he had to, like, give out a number of dollars worth of goods a day. So I feel like he would run out of money in that way.
But like
Yeah.
everything in Erewhon costs more than in a normal grocery store. So he could have just given like 3 smoothies a day, or perhaps like 3 bags of ice.
Yeah.
And it would have been fine. We would have been good.
The reason why we decided to talk about a grocery store on our internet culture podcast is because we saw a TikTok of a girl who bought $36 ice cubes at Erewhon.
Wait, sorry, it's $32. I was wrong about that.
Oh,
I did
no.
go check later.
God. See, this is why no one trusts journalists anymore. Regardless, $32 ice cubes, and Erewhon has had like a weirdly strong impact on Hollywood culture and celebrity culture, and then by extension internet culture. So we're talking about rich people groceries today.
Part of it's that, like, Erewhon, I feel like regularly something from Erewhon will go viral on TikTok, or like get an article written about it, or like you'll see celebrities with like, oh, the smoothie, some shit like that, just because it is kind of a ridiculous place and these are not serious people. And sometimes the smoothie costs like $18, which is a lot of dollars per smoothie.
So can we describe, like, what is a typical Erewhon smoothie?
An Erewhon smoothie can include deer antler powder, pitaya, bee pollen, sea moss, MCT oil, dandelion, collagen, celery, green apples, omega-3s, and minerals.
I know what, like, a third of those things are, but it's also, it looks like hyaluronic acid drops.
Which is usually used for, like, skincare, not for consuming in your body.
Whatever happened to a strawberry banana smoothie?
Well, so the interesting thing here is that
the Hailey Bieber smoothie.
Yeah, you
can get the strawberry and
is
banana.
a strawberry banana smoothie. It just also has collagen and sea moss.
Yo, I feel like sea moss is becoming big right now, and I don't love it because I feel like it's like a really goo-related experience, and I don't think we should have more goo. That's all. That's all I've got.
Are there any good goo-related experiences? Like, are there any foods? I guess, like, a boba once you bite into it.
But that's less goo and more chewy.
Yeah.
Pudding? Is pudding goo?
Oh, yeah, same thought.
Yeah, pudding is goo. Yeah. Good point. Glad we established this. I'm just feeling kind of like Tucker Carlson, which this is my Tucker Carlson impression, which is actually an impression of my friend doing a Tucker Carlson impression. You used to be able to go to the smoothie store and buy a strawberry banana smoothie. Not anymore. That's it. That's the
Goo-pilled
It's not bad.
Smoothiemaxxer. That's all I've got. Okay. Let's actually talk about what we're here to talk about. Okay, so what is Erewhon? In case you don't know what Erewhon is, and if this description that we've given has not explained anything to you, which it probably hasn't, Erewhon is an upscale grocery chain in California that basically regularly goes viral online because of their incredibly weird products, but also it is kind of like an upscale Whole Foods sort of situation where they have a smoothie bar that regularly goes viral. They have a bunch of locations in California. They have not expanded outside of California yet, but I, who live in New York, regularly see shit about Erewhon on my TikTok, which that does not say anything good about my TikTok, but that's okay. I don't know, Allison, you got anything else to add there?
I think that about covers what Erewhon is. It is definitely an extension of influencer culture. It is, I think the current popularity of it and the prices that they can charge is 100% tied to being able to convince people to come in and take photos of their smoothies and their, $30 bottles of water.
Speaking of taking photos of smoothies, we do have an on-the-ground report from culture reporter Morgan Sung, actual serious journalist. Actually, she is legitimately very good. She has a newsletter called Rat.House, but she, live from LA, went to Erewhon for us and had an experience.
So, yeah, and roll clip.
Hi, I'm coming to you live after coming back from Erewhon. In my 7 years of living in LA, I've only been to Erewhon 3 times. I gotta say it, I should have been going to the West Side Erewhons, because in LA, the West Side is just, the most stereotypical, influencer culture kind of thing that we always clown on. And I don't really see a lot of that on, the East Side of LA, but literally at Erewhon, I was, in line for the smoothie bar, and I watched this woman spend, a good 5 minutes at the pickup part, taking pictures of this, swirly blue smoothie. And then she walked away. And I was like, that's not even your smoothie. And then she came back and got this, tonic or whatever. And I was like, that's not even your smoothie. I got this, energy boost, whatever, with, berries and, spinach. And it's not actually green. It's kind of a grayish purple. But it's pretty good. I'm pleasantly surprised. Would I regularly pay, $15 for a smoothie? No. But I do think I'm kind of gently Erewhonpilled, after this experience. I think, if I lived on this part of, if I lived in the part of town where Erewhon is, I would be going more, and if I was, in this tax bracket, I'd be going all the time. I saw that $60 Erewhon tote bag, and I think I'm a bit Erewhonpilled. I saw it, and I was like, damn, I like that tote bag. So I got these, insanely good dolmas. I would go back for that. I don't think I would ever regularly, go grocery shopping at Erewhon, because that's insane. But I don't know, I guess if I'm, craving sea moss, maybe I'll go back for another juice. Oh, also, okay, speaking of terrible, or about, Erewhon fashion, I will say everyone turned up in little fits, and none of them were good. They were all just, outfits I would never even consider wearing. I saw a woman in, a sports bra, a puffer vest, and, leggings. And I was like, but nothing under the puffer vest besides the sports bra. And I was like, that's okay, that's fun, that's kind of slay. I saw this, old lady in, a hot pink trench coat. And I was like, okay, interesting. I don't know, it's, all these, extremely high-end luxury, garments, but paired with super basic Lululemon. It's very fascinating. Anyway, I can't really judge though, because I'm wearing a Mitski tour shirt and Uniqlo cargo pants.
If that's not journalism, I don't know what is.
I really like how over the course of the clips, she gets Erewhonpilled.
It's at first she's disgusted, and then she kind of convinces herself actually pretty good.
The two things that get me here are woman who looks at smoothie, takes photos. That's not her smoothie.
I mean, good on her. She didn't have to buy the blue one to get pictures to put it on Instagram because somebody else had already done it for her.
That's just a lot. At I just feel like if I was in that position and that's what I was doing, I would be thinking about the trajectory of my life, you know?
But they
That's
don't.
fair.
And okay, what's also crazy is I found out that the Hailey Bieber smoothie is actually called strawberry skin glaze.
Yes.
That sounds disgusting. And they sell 40,000 of these smoothies a month.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. This is why we're talking about it, because it is relevant to the culture. The strawberry skin glaze smoothie is actually 300 years from now, when they're studying the late American Empire, there may be a tiny footnote about this, you know, and what people valued.
I feel bad when I buy an $8 matcha latte, which,
Yo, that's
fair,
like a lot, though.
It is.
Yeah, that is a very expensive matcha latte.
Yeah, well, because, like, I get oat milk, and then...
No, like, you're valid.
Yeah.
But also, I don't like that
Literally-
you have to pay that many dollars for a matcha latte.
I don't do it often. Literally, the first time I got a matcha latte was right when I transitioned from full-time freelancer to person with a real job, and I was at a coffee shop with a friend, and I was like, I have a real job. What if I, like, get a matcha latte? And then I was like, oh, this slaps. This is really good. And then it kind of ruined my life.
Listen, I can't actually say shit because I regularly buy, like, $22 cocktails. So, you know.
The New York of it all.
The New York of it all.
The glory of Philadelphia is last night I bought a $10 cocktail.
God, I wish that were me. Well, the thing is, okay, this is a complete aside, but it's also, I guess, I can tie this back in, but it won't be good. But that's fine. A lot of places, I feel like, justify the price tag of what they're selling based on the experience that they're giving to you. For example, the $22 cocktails that I get are at a sinister tiki bar. The fact that it is so sinister, and also the fact that the drinks are good, makes me go back there. Because it's just, the vibe is insane. Erewhon.
That's so funny.
When you're in New York, I'll take you to Paradise Lost.
Oh my god, it's called Paradise Lost.
It's called Paradise Lost, and also it's, like, completely blank. Like, it's, like, blacked out from the outside, and you have to ring a doorbell, and it's, like, a whole situation. And also they set things on fire. Leave me alone. I'm taking you there when you're visiting New York.
I want to go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Gonna get on the train right now.
We will fucking go there, except it's the weekend, so it might be busy.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I mean, my birthday party is tonight, and I'm just gonna cancel it and go to the tiki bar with you in a different state.
Exactly. Also, happy early birthday. But
Thank
I'm going
you.
to tie this back to Erewhon, which is that Erewhon is also providing, like, a experience for the customer, part of which is actually, I think, the high price tags, because it's not that everything at Erewhon is insanely priced. It's just some things that are weird. And some of the other stuff is just, like, it's stuff. It's groceries. It's slightly overpriced groceries, but it's groceries. But it makes you feel like you're the sort of person who does this sort of shit. Anyway, Allison, I don't know. What do you find interesting about this stuff? We brought you on here because you are my one friend that knows about handbags. Okay, I'm being flip, but also, you know.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I find interesting about, like, the luxury economy and hyper luxury in particular is, I mean, one, it is pop culture. Like, the branding for it is all around us. You see it all the time. And I also am fascinated by, like, the ways in which the things that people are willing to spend weird amounts of money on tell us about, like, speak to the world around us. As you both know, like, I'm an archivist, so I work with historical documents and objects a lot, and the materiality of how objects and people interact is something that's really interesting to me. I think it speaks to often, like, the history of trade, including the ways in which fashion and luxury are implicated in colonialism, and also to women's history in particular, because a lot of this stuff is aimed at women. And that is just fascinating to me. I mean, also, I often think that these things are pretty or really kind of constitute a mixture of art and function in some ways.
Do you think that if you went to Erewhon, like Morgan, you would become Erewhonpilled because it's very aesthetically set up and the smoothies are aesthetic?
No,
Okay.
I don't. And I think this, one, because I don't make enough money to do that. And two, I mean, I like luxury and stuff in the way that like people like keeping an ant farm. It doesn't mean that I want to be an ant. It just means that I really like looking at it, I guess, or I'm fascinated by their weird culture.
Hey, why was that the metaphor you used? That sucks.
Well, I'm also curious about, like, in your work as an archivist, do you see examples of this sort of, like, spending money on absurd things in history? Because in some ways it's like Erewhon is the pinnacle of late capitalism, but, like, this probably happened in the past, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, food, specific types of food, I should say, has always been a luxury in some ways. I mean, that's why, although, like, you know, it's everyone's favorite fact that it is not a thing she ever actually said, but that's why Let Them Eat Cake with Marie Antoinette was a thing, right? Like, oh, this is a luxurious food. It's ridiculous for her to say, well, why don't you just do this?
Yeah.
That it's that kind of attitude has always existed. And I also think that, you know, with Erewhon and with hyperluxury in general, one of the trends historically that we look at is the lipstick effect, which is that as, well, it's a theory in economics, which is that as people are facing an economic crisis, consumers become more willing to buy luxury goods instead of buying like houses or cars, or like you realize, oh, I'm never going to own a house, but I can own an $18 smoothie.
Yeah.
And so it's like that treat yourself thing.
Yeah. I mean, the aesthetics are fun. I mean, speaking of my new matcha latte love, there are a couple cafes around me that do like strawberry milk matcha lattes, and we just need to bring strawberry milk back. It's so good, but when they like give it to you, it's like pink and green, and it's so fun. But also, it's not $18
Yet.
I guess if I lived in LA, it would probably be $18 because inflation.
Yeah, I guess the other thing I wanted to add is that, like, Erewhon makes more sense to me, like, the context of, like, we talked about Goop before on this show, years ago, I think. But, like, the way, okay, I wrote this sucks. I wrote this in the script, and I said, think of Erewhon like Goop, but in reality, physical Goop. And I just wanted to say that on the pod. No, but, like, aspirational shit that costs weird amounts of money that people like looking at. That's all I got.
Yep, 100%.
I also am shocked to learn that Goop and Super Goop are two different things.
I can't help you with that one.
And also,
I'm proud of you.
Super Goop, if you're buying Super Goop and you're not using, like, an FSA, like, I feel like that the only people I know that have bought it are, like, buying it because they're like, shit, I have money in my FSA that I need to spend before the end of the year. It's, like, really fancy sunscreen, but Trader Joe's makes a dupe of it for, like, $10. Probably less, so.
Is Trader Joe's the poor man's Erewhon? Discuss.
Yes.
See, but that's interesting that you both were just like, absolutely, next question, which says, like, what does that say about Trader Joe's?
Well, because it is, like, an experience where there are some similarities between Trader Joe's and Aldi. Like, they carry variations of the same products. But when I go to Aldi, it doesn't feel like a fun experience. It's like I'm just going to the grocery store. Also, the Aldi near me has horrible produce, so I don't really shop there regularly. But Trader Joe's is like, even though you know that the actual company, they're union busters, you're like, look at me, I'm in Trader Joe's, and they have the little quirky little things, and everyone's ringing the bells and being happy, even though they're all trying to unionize and not being able to.
And for like a more specific example of the ways that these two things are pretty much similar, tote bags. Trader Joe's has had viral tote bags. Erewhon currently has viral tote bags. Amanda, how much do you imagine a tote bag at Erewhon costs versus Trader Joe's?
Well, the Trader Joe's ones I think are like $5 or so. And the Erewhon ones, I would guess like 40.
Oh, Amanda.
Oh no.
An Erewhon tote bag can set you back $135.
What?
Yeah.
What does this even look like? I need to look it up.
It just looks like a big tote bag.
What?
It is
just
a big canvas tote bag.
It's
yep,
just
that says Erewhon on it.
Come on. Okay. Is it even like good quality?
I have no idea.
Listen.
But no quality could justify $135.
Okay, here's the ad break. Do you want a tote bag that doesn't cost $135? Go to wowoftrue.com/merch, where we do have tote bags that are priced at the price that you might think a tote bag is priced at. I'm being very vague because I don't remember how much they are. Give me 1 second while I go to wowoftrue.com/merch on my web browser and load the website in order to learn things. Okay, our totes are $25. However, we are a small business. We don't make a lot of money. And when you're buying merch, you're essentially also like donating to us, but then getting a fun thing in response. However, on the merch front, you know what's even more exciting? You might recall from our last episode that my beloved co-host, Isabel J. Kim, got a 7-figure book deal. What if you could get a mug or a t-shirt that says, I listened to Wow of True before Isabel J. Kim got a 7-figure book deal? You can do that on wowoftrue.com/merch. Those are cheaper than the tote bags because I made them less expensive because they're so hyper niche and not just your generic, I listened to Wow of True and all I got was this sick tote that is, it has multiple colors, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. It's not an Erewhon tote. Buy it. This has been the ad break. Bye.
I think it'd be really funny if we made Erewhon totes, but like spelled it wrong or something, and then sold them and then got a cease and desist letter from Erewhon.
I mean, we got a cease and desist letter from SEPTA. We should just collect cease and desist letters.
Exactly.
I don't think they'd be as nice as SEPTA was.
Yeah.
But it'd be kind of funny. It'd be a little
SEPTA
funny.
would be.
SEPTA cease and desist was so nice, and yet I still cried.
You were so freaked out by it. And I was just kind of like, it's fine.
I had never gotten a cease and desist, and also contextually, it was March 2020, and I was like, guys, I think that's I think this COVID thing might be really bad.
Yeah,
and
I mean, you get points because that was like not a great time in anybody's life.
That was probably like one of the last days I went to work in a physical office ever.
I want to talk about Erewhon's history. I went into looking for the history of Erewhon just because I was curious, because it did feel like this popped out of nowhere like a few years ago. And then it's really great when people do the research for you and write an article. Like, I love that. Basically, so there is an article in The Cut called Erewhon Secrets, which details how Erewhon turned into Erewhon. And for most of Erewhon's life, it was the first macrobiotic like food store, that was basically run by a cult.
What?
This is actually not the craziest thing.
What?
Okay, so Erewhon was started by essentially a husband and wife team named Aveline and Michio Kushi. Well, Aveline Yokoyama and Michio Kushi. I don't know if she changed her name. I should check that. Who were both followers of this guy George Osawa. This is like in the 1960s, by the way. Who started sort of like something he called the unique principle.
Sounds like a cult.
Which involved eating a macrobiotic diet, which was basically like eat whole grains, don't eat these certain foods, don't eat meat, don't eat sugar, balance the yin foods with the yang ones. And also he could look at your eyes and tell whether you would risk dying a violent death. If your eyes were a sanpaku, which is that if they had white around 3 sides, the risk of you dying a violent death was higher.
Oh no. See, I didn't know this was a Japanese company. I assumed it was, anytime there's something cursed, I assume it's American because, look at us.
Oh.
Right. Well, no, it's an
American.
They both came to the States, like, separately. Well, she came to meet him. They essentially start what is, like, I don't want to call it like a cult because it did kind of seem just like they were like, but the sort of thing where the guy is teaching out of their apartment and eventually somehow they start an organic food store. That sort of thing.
Oh yeah, of course. That's like the plot of every TV show on the CW.
Yeah, like, this happens all the time. But basically, they sort of, like, get a bunch of American hippies who are very interested in them. Okay, wait, this is also an aside. They also raise their children in this whole lifestyle question mark.
What is the lifestyle, though? Is it just, like, eating macrobiotics? Which also, what's a macrobiotic?
Well, it's basically that you avoid meat, etc., etc. Don't eat certain vegetables, restrict liquids. Well, they have, like, do you know what I mean? Where it's, like, what a macrobiotic diet is now versus what they were advising are different things. Also, to be completely candid, I'm probably not 100% sure what a macrobiotic diet means now in 2024. But I want to read a quote here about their kid. One of their kids is going to, and there's a reason I'm bringing up their kids right now, by the way, and it will all become clear later.
Oh my god.
So Fiyakushi, who's one of their kids, recalls being in primary school in the late 1960s and looking at some disgust at the meals of his white peers. Peanut butter and jelly on Wonder Bread, cow's milk. He preferred the nori rice balls his mother made, but the teachers were concerned. They forced him to buy a school lunch of meatloaf. He wept. That's, yeah, okay, I just wanted you guys to hear that.
Yeah, that's a fair reaction to Meatloaf, and also to the racism.
I'm just saying, he had to buy meatloaf and he wept. I would also do the same thing.
Honestly,
yes,
I think meatloaf is kind of gross, so hey.
Yeah, we are all agreed on this.
We are all meatloaf haters on WoW, true, unless David happens to like meatloaf, in which case I guess we're okay with it.
I also just want to jump in and say that macrobiotics or a macrobiotic diet is, it is 100% a fad diet. There's no nutritional science behind it. It is a fad diet that is based on trying to balance the yin and yang elements in food and cookware. So you eat less animal products, everything should be locally grown and in season, and you should consume meals in moderation, all of which is like that's not unhealthy or dangerous, but it is intrinsically a diet that is based on Zen Buddhism.
Interesting. I also feel like, I don't think it's the same thing, but like all the girlies are talking about their gut microbiomes and like gut microbiome health, and like I'm really torn because I do think gut health is like a thing. But whenever they talk about it, I'm like, you can't call it your gut microbiome. Just call it, like, gut health. Because we all know, yeah, if you eat, like, a bunch of cheese, your gut health is not going to be great the next day.
I'm actually in disagreement with you, because I think it's really funny when people call it the microbiome, because I like imagining that there's a lot of shit alive in you that is not you.
Well, there is.
Yeah.
Are we really our bodies?
Thread locked after 9,000 comments. Moving on.
Do human beings have any free will, or are we just a composite of many microbiomes fighting to be heard?
I think Osmosis Jones answered this for us. Anyway, basically the people who started Erewhon were not like business people. They were like, I don't want to call them cult leaders, but they were sort of cult leaders. To quote the article again, they started Erewhon in a bunker-like underground space in Boston and mostly left it to a bunch of young men, none of whom had business experience beyond the psychedelic light show industry. A man could show up for the first time on a motorcycle and be running Erewhon shortly after. They didn't pay anybody, to be clear.
Okay, to be fair, a bunch of men in a bunker who have no experience other than the psychedelic light show industry, that is kind of just what's happening in Silicon Valley right now in 2024. I'm a tech journalist. I work for TechCrunch. I can say that.
Oh, no.
I'm an authority. I know everything. I've never been wrong.
Slay.
Slay.
But, yeah, so they didn't pay them, but they did, like, whenever they wanted money, they were just like, here's some money to buy shoes with. That sort of situation. But basically, they end up moving out to California as well, and they were actually doing a lot in annual sales by 1978, which was like 10 million. They were not keeping good books. They kept extremely shitty books.
Because they're a cult and they're hiding stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also just kind of like, I don't think they thought about what they were doing Do you know what I mean? Where like this was kind of like a we all believe in this diet that turned into we have a business now.
Like us
you know what I
starting
mean?
a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Once we have our business, which includes like, I don't know, when we have like 15 brands under our umbrella. Anyway. But basically what happens is that there are other health food stores that are not so mismanaged and eventually they go bankrupt.
Yeah.
The last remaining LA store is is then run by like this one guy who is like, I am going to make smoothies that will fix you. Yeah, in 2007, basically there's like the one last employee, Truce Calkins, who is basically running a juice bar. But the juice bar is deranged. The juice bar is selling juice between $25 and $400 for his drinks that will fix you.
This also seems to be a thing throughout history. I'm truly just making this up on the fly, but it's like you could buy indulgences in the Catholic Church to fix you, and now you can buy smoothies to fix you. Is that the same thing?
This is actually the same thing, and I'm Catholic, and I can confirm that. These even sometimes contain bone. But anyway, so...
Is that vegan?
They also, I think, like, more as well as it being, like, indulgences, like, this is how we did medicine for most of human history. We just kind of made potions or, like, went, well, maybe if we take some blood out, you'll feel better.
Yeah.
So
bloodletting is crazy.
Kind of just an extension of all that. I mean, if you can make someone have a reaction to what you're doing, then you must be healing them.
Yeah. And I do think, like, I am very much a victim of, like, sometimes it calms me to watch those videos that are, like, 10 Amazon home gadgets that you need now. And I don't often buy things from them, but I just kind of like seeing people use gadgets that seem to be making their lives easier. It's like, I bought a new vacuum and I was like, this will fix me. It is a good vacuum though, and having a good vacuum is a good thing, but did it change my life? No.
Hey, maybe if you try buying a second vacuum? Have you considered that? That might fix you.
I have thought about what about those vacuums that also mop at the same time, but I don't know. It's a lot.
I have one last thing to say about this history of Erewhon. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Well, two last things. First of all, after all of that shenanigans, eventually Erewhon just gets bought. And this happens in 2011. It is bought, and like it basically gets bought and starts getting transformed into the Erewhon that we see today. And that is when that becomes weird macrobiotic thing turns into weird macrobiotic thing 2, the sequel, this time with celebrities, I think is the way to think about it. The other thing that I would like to say is that, so remember the fact that I said that they had children, that these people who were sort of cult leaders, but not really cult leaders, but actually cult leaders did have kids?
And one of the kids cried eating meatloaf, correct?
Yes. Can you guess what one of their other children did?
I feel like it either has to be, like, he founded, like, a really evil startup, or he's, like, a pop star.
You are so close.
You are, like, you are on the two extremes, I feel like.
And
okay. I need to, let me think for another second. Is he, like, a Nepo baby fine artist?
No. You were really close with your first answer. Should I just tell you what it is?
Okay.
He starts Peloton.
He started Peloton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Ah. I mean, Peloton had layoffs this week. They're not doing too great, so sorry to that guy. What does Peloton even mean? I need to find this out now. This is just a podcast in which Amanda Googles things.
Have we talked about what the meaning of Erewhon is?
No, go for it.
Wait. Oh, sorry.
So,
in French, Peloton literally means ball, but it is most often used with the meaning group. Okay, Allison.
The name Erewhon comes from an 1852, I think, a book that is describing like a utopia, and that utopia is named Erewhon.
Okay.
So it ties back into the like 1960s counterculture thing where like you have in the book, which actually it's 1872, in this utopia, people are responsible for their own health. It is 100% a work of satire and not meant to be taken literally.
So is this like how Mark Zuckerberg gives every employee at Meta a copy of Ready Player One, even though the point of Ready Player One wasn't that, like, we should all live in the metaverse?
Yes. Oh, 100%. And
Wow.
in Erewhon, in the book too, people who are ill are prosecuted because they've like breached, I don't know, ethics of the society that they live in. So people have to hide their illness, and doctors are illegal.
What? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, doctors
So
have
this
to be
is-
illegal because if you have health care, then you don't think that a $400 juice is gonna save your life.
Yeah, it is just like wild that someone read this book and was like, yeah, this is what we want.
It's like when people read Isabel's Omelas story and thought, you know what? Children should be killed because life is suffering.
Okay, that was just one guy. That was just one guy in the Slate Star Codex Reddit, and everyone immediately was like, can you not? Can you fucking not?
Yeah, and then this one guy read the thing Allison's talking about and was like, Erewhon sounds like utopia.
What I think is interesting is that, like, basically a lot of Erewhon's roots stayed the same in the sense that it has always been a weird health food store. It is just now a weird health food store that partners with celebrities. I don't know if I have anything insightful to say about this other than that it's kind of interesting seeing the jump from weird niche bullshit in the 1960s to kind of the current, like, health, wellness, like, industrial complex situation that we have going on that Erewhon is part of. Probably good that they're not doing, like, insane smoothies anymore and are doing mostly regular smoothies that have, like, a little bit of insane shit in them. They don't have bone, they have antler. These are technically different things.
What is antler supposed to do for you?
I don't know.
It's probably something with collagen and like helping your skin and hair look better. Everything is related to collagen somehow. I'm just assuming because bone and hoof is used to make gelatin, which is essentially collagen.
It is used to strengthen bones, improve immunity, and treat ailments including toothaches and tissue damage, according to one Google search.
Good enough for me.
I also think that it's good that, like, you know, they're still making insane smoothies that are overpriced, but the insane smoothies no longer cost $400, which is what Truth was occasionally charging people. Also, as much as they make weird health claims about your skin looking glazed after you drink this smoothie, they're no longer claiming that, like, drinking a smoothie will cure cancer or AIDS. So that's a positive.
The bar is so low.
Truly. You know, like, this is a $1 trillion industry, right? Like the health and wellness industrial complex. And Erewhon is 100% cashing in on that. Amanda, what do you think Erewhon's profit margins were in 2023?
I guess I don't have a lot of context because I don't know how much grocery stores normally make. Also, how many stores do they have currently?
10. All in the LA area.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be more than I think it is because, you know.
But,
well,
like, I think
okay.
it's like...
They're selling 40,000 smoothies a month. So just by that, 40,000 times they're like $20 is 800,000, I believe. That's $800,000. And that's only smoothies, but then also that you have to subtract like rent and costs and all that. So I guess from the Hailey Bieber smoothie, I'm gonna quadruple that because I don't know. I wonder if that's the most popular item. I'm gonna say maybe like each store makes like 3 million a year, and then times 10 is 30 million.
Amanda, I'm so sorry to tell you, they made about $171 million in 2023.
Wow. I'm just shook.
We've rendered you speechless.
Money is fake.
Smoothies are real.
Fuck, I was
Basketball's as real as it gets. In another way, the celery juice craze was really something, where celery juice is literally just celery and water. But at least the Erewhon smoothies, they do have, like, fruit in it. Like, there is nutritional value. It's just maybe, you know, I don't know if there's much of a difference between Hailey Bieber's smoothie and if you, like, buy some frozen strawberries and some bananas and, like, some almond milk and put it in your blender right now in your home.
I'm probably gonna go make a smoothie after this because I kind of got smoothie pilled by talking about Erewhon.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I also have a deep desire to make a smoothie.
I'm going to the pottery studio after this, and there's a place that sells smoothies next to it, but the smoothies are like $5.
That's a normal price.
That's a very reasonable price for a smoothie.
Yeah, in Philadelphia is a big food truck city, and in college there were a bunch of fruit trucks just around, and I would very frequently just buy like a massive smoothie and just have that, which, I mean, this is like college life when you're not eating real meals and you're like barely surviving, but I would just pay like $5 and get like a massive like smoothie. And I don't know, I mean, I'm a big smoothie head. I love fruit.
I feel like in college I would get a smoothie whenever I felt like I had not eaten enough fruit in a certain amount of time, where I was like, oh fuck, I need like a vitamin. That's single vitamin in my body.
I mean, my diet tip, not actually, I'm joking, but like, you know, when you don't eat enough vegetables and your body is like, I need a vegetable. Like, when you put spinach in a smoothie, you don't actually taste it. But then your smoothie ends up coming out like a brown color, and that's no fun.
Only if you don't put enough spinach in.
And then it's green. You see, that's the thing, is like, I feel like when the Erewhon girlies and also Morgan, I guess, have green smoothies, it's literally just like spinach, green apple, celery, cucumber, which doesn't sound terrible, but like when I have a green smoothie, it's like a bunch of fruit, but then also spinach is in it. I did have a phase when I was making green juice a lot as a bit. This might be nothing.
Wait, explain how this was a bit.
So when I worked in Penn's creative writing department, there was a professor who, like, love her, she's great. She is just one of those, like I'm a poetry professor and I'm so, like, ethereal and I drink green juice. And so at our, like, weekly staff meetings, she would always have green juice, and then there's like 5 people in these meetings, and then me and another person were like, what if we started like making green juice and bringing it to drink during staff meetings?
Wait, okay, that is good. Actually, never mind.
Yeah, that is, yeah. That is a bit.
I was really ready to give you shit for this, but actually I'm totally on board.
Yeah, so then we would just make green juice. Like, I don't know, my green juice was pretty good. It was just spinach, lemon juice, ginger, and apples. It was really good. Although, one time I accidentally knocked my other coworker's mason jar of green juice off of the fridge, and it just like fell and the glass shattered and the green juice shattered. And I don't know, man, I just started crying. I hadn't had coffee yet. It was like 8 a.m. I don't know. And then one of the like college students that worked there as a work study job was helping me clean it up, and I was just like, I don't know why I'm crying over spilled green juice. I'm so sorry. And then now this year, like a couple weeks ago, she like sends me an email and it's very formal. And she's like, I would love to meet with you and talk about journalism. And I'm like, we're friends. You saw me cry over green juice. Like, it's fine. You don't need to send me a formal email. Like, just text me and be like, hey, want to get coffee? Like, it's fine. You're chill. And this is why I don't work in an office anymore.
Okay, so I'm going to go make a smoothie, and then I'm going to post it on social media and say that that's a spoiler for next week. Because that's advertising.
I'll do the same thing, and honestly, I'm probably going to get the green smoothie at this place, because it's good.
That's correct. I'm going to go make a cunty little smoothie. Why did I say that? Go subscribe to rat.house, and
thank you, Morgan Sung, our LA influencer culture correspondent on the ground doing God's work, reporting from the trenches.
Right, and like just like Erewhon, we're gonna start on the East Coast, end up on the West Coast, and then I think Morgan can start a cult. It's really unclear.
She would be a good cult leader.
Don't say that a compliment or an insult.
It's a compliment because she has like a good amount of followers on TikTok, and she does the thing where like she's really good at crocheting and she just crochets and like talks about her stories. And I feel like she could secretly like mesmerize and hypnotize people via the crocheting.
Okay, so Morgan has to start a cult. Allison, where can we find you if you want to be found on the internet?
You can find me on Blue Sky, where I am Allison with 2 L's, M.
Do you want to also start a cult?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Seems like a lot of work.
Okay, fair enough. And as per usual, we are where we usually are. So if you like this episode, tell a friend. Word of mouth is how we grow. Thank you to all of our patrons, and shout out specifically to Zoe Bray, Andromeda Thea, Brian, Gabriel, Lauda, Matt, Max, my sugar daddy Sam, Jock, and Aaron's husband. If you want your name in the above or in our Twitter header, slide right into our Patreon at patreon.com/wowtrue. Shout out to audio editors Allison Mills, hi Allison, and David Newtown, graphic designer and Canva warlock Eric Silver, who made our logo, Sam Reiser, who made our podcast music, and Tessa Farrow, who is transcribing our episodes. You can find us on Twitter as @WowTruePod and Instagram and Facebook as @WowTrue. Have your 15 seconds of internet fame? Slide right into our Twitter DMs and tell us about it. And until next time, let's get weird on the internet.